Corruption is a growing theme in Hamlet. It branches out into the lives of many important characters: Claudius, the Queen, Hamlet, Ophelia, and Laertes.
King Claudius is a conniving man who is hungry for power and possession. He is a man who is manipulative through the skillful use of his language. His words can be compared to as poison being poured into the ear, the method he uses to kill his own brother for the throne. Claudius also discovers that Hamlet attempted to kill him when Hamlet stabs Polonius behind the curtains. Had Claudius been listening into Hamlet's conversation, he would have been killed. This makes Claudius feel threatened and sends Hamlet packing and writes a letter to the King of England telling him to kill Hamlet. After the failed attempt at trying to get rid of Hamlet, Claudius coaxes Laertes to a duel with Hamlet. This further makes the whole story corrupt because Claudius tells Laertes that the duel will be rigged so that Laertes can kill Hamlet to avenge his father. Claudius only created this duel so that he was not a suspect for Hamlet's planned death. The corruption of Claudius is shown throughout the story because it is evident that he will stop at nothing to get whatever he desires. Although Gertrude does not mean to cause any harm towards the other characters, her actions cause a domino effect of the corruption of the other characters. Gertrude's hasty marriage with Hamlet's uncle is an example of how her actions cause Hamlet to become corrupt. We can also see her lack of empathy towards Hamlet when she tells Hamlet to stop mourning over the death of his father. She says, "Do not forever with thy veiled lid seek for thy noble father in the dust." Hamlet then begins to see that his mother is not as good of a role model as he thought, which then leads to Hamlet's paradigm shift of his mother as he sees her as someone that he is no longer able to trust and confess to.
Hamlet's corruption in the play starts after Horatio informs him of the existence of his father's ghost wandering around. This ghost ends up adding more corruption to Hamlet's life when he entrusts him with the task of killing Claudius to avenge his father's death. Hamlet must decide whether to help his father's ghost or to just ignore him. We are told of Hamlet's decision to help when Hamlet arranges traveling actors to perform a play very similar to the death of the old King Hamlet to determine Claudius's guilt. Now that Claudius realizes that Hamlet knows of his secret, both Hamlet and him sneak behind one another's back to figure out what the other is doing. This corrupts Hamlet even more when he believes that Claudius is spying on him behind a curtain during a conversation with his mother. He stabs into it only to realize that he has killed Polonius instead. This adds unnecessary bloodshed into the equation, leading to the corruption of both Ophelia and Laertes. Following the death of her father, Ophelia goes mad. She dances around singing and giving out flowers. The fact that Hamlet tells her that he doesn't love her adds to her corruption as well. Soon after, she is found dead in the river, believed to have killed herself. This corruption leads to the death of innocent Ophelia, as well as the corruption of Laertes. The death of both his father and sister prompts the return of Laertes from France, who seeks vengeance and the death of Hamlet. To get rid of Hamlet once and for all, Laertes laces his sword with poison. Laertes says, "And for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank, so mortal that but dip a knife in it." This cunning ploy to accidentally kill Hamlet causes the corruption in the play to grow, and this will be the end of everyone. During the duel, Hamlet and Laertes wound each other with the same poisoned sword, ending both their lives by the same poison. As the last man dies, the storm of corruption passes.
What started off as a greedy man killing his own brother to take his throne and wife eventually led to the death of many characters in the play. Hamlet is the story of how corruption can add up and ruin the lives of all it touches, whether guilty or not.